Hey there, wonderful world of social media. It's yours truly, Jimmy Williams, again, coming to you with a live, great and informative video with one of my good friends. His name is Burton. Say the last name, Burton.
Yeah, this is a little tricky, but it's Alicando.
Alicando. And I said that because I didn't want to mispronounce his last name. He's a great guy. Amazing. I've been knowing him a couple of years now, and his company, PropStream, well known globally. They're doing a lot of great things for young entrepreneurs who are in real estate, and they have properties. They're trying to get good quality properties, and they're trying to build their leads list. And they've been one of the leading names for that, PropStream. He's been with them about 10 years, since 2013. He's better known as the product specialist. And if you're the product specialist, you've got to know what you're talking about. You just can't be some fly-by-night guy. And he's helped, listen to this, guys, hundreds of investors over the last few years with marketing strategies, building their list. Because you know this, guys, if you don't have good property sources, you don't have good lists, you can't be an investor, because how are you going to make good deals? How are you going to make profit? He's been doing that. He's good at analyzing the deals as well. So he actually can tell you what's a good deal from a bad deal. I've always had people around me that know how to do that, but they come and go. They're not very consistent. Even some of the realtors that I work with, but their company's pretty consistent. You can always, once you become his client, I'm sure you can always call them and they can reach out to you. Is that right? And they can help you, find the properties, the deals that's going to make you the most profit as a business owner, as a real estate investor. Today, he's going to be our tour guide. I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but back in 2020, he was on our show before, and he just told me something very important. They've updated the software. There's so many things that they have that are different. That's different now. They have some incredible, they have a mobile app, and they have some incredible features that we didn't have before that's going to help, especially, listen to me guys, all you newbies, all right? We got stuff that's going to help you simplify putting your deals together and finding good deals. So I'm going to give it over to him, and he's going to actually take control now. I'm going to he's going to be a host today. See him, he's all excited. And guys, write down your notes or write down your questions, and at the end, if we have a couple of minutes, we'll take the questions. If not, then you can go on my post and you can tell me what your questions are, and I'll go back to him if I can't answer it. But mostly for the newbies, you guys need something. You need a consistent software that's going to give you good deals and in record-breaking times. And so those deals are not daisy chained, and they have the software to get things to you faster. So you need to really listen to this. And I'm backing this myself. Okay, guys, I'm gonna give you a personal testimony before I give it over to him. Back in 2021, we were posting this video that we did the first time. It was an awesome video. People were subscribing, going in there. And I lost touch with PropStream for a while because, I'm a busy guy, right? They recently reached out to me about 3 weeks ago, and they said, Jimmy, you have a client who's been with us for over a year now. And you've been paying consistently, and we owe you about $1,200, right? I was like, a company calls me, wants to pay me $1,200 for a client. That's a really good company. I said, send me the check, right? But I said all that to say this: if they're not good, then someone would not continue to use their software over and over again if it wasn't worth it. So the $1,200 is just that was my commission, but you can only imagine the value that it built for that investor. And so he's going to explain to you how this all works. I'm going to ask you guys to take your time, sit down, relax, take notes, okay? And Mr. Burton, I'm going to give you full access right now, okay?
Awesome. I'm excited. Thanks for having me here. That's a great testimonial, by the way. I'm good to hear that. But let us get the show started. And so for some of you guys out there, you probably have heard the name PropStream, or this might be the first time you're hearing about it, or this might be your first day in the journey of the rest of your career as a real estate investor. So first off, I want to thank you for being here with us today. I want to thank you for giving me the time. But I like to start from ground up, right? One of the most common questions I get, and when I first met Jimmy, he asked the same question: what do you guys do? Well, besides collecting data since 2006, that's when PropStream first started. So just a little bit about that. PropStream is collecting data on your behalf. Could you do what PropStream is doing? Absolutely. Right? You go to the county, you scrape that data, you bring it back, you become a realtor, after school and some courses and state exam and paying fees. You get that MLS data, put it all together. I mean, you pretty much can create your own PropStream, but we've done that for you, right? So the reason we've done that for you is for the longest time, investors had to go get that data on their own. And you might have heard this term before. It's called boots on the ground. Investors used to pay people to go get that data because they didn't want to sit in traffic. They didn't want to go stand in line at the county and make copies of those records, right? So they started hiring boots on the grounds to go get that information. And so that's where PropStream came about. PropStream saw an opportunity, and that opportunity was, hey, let's go get that data on your behalf and give it to you through our software. So you don't have to spend a day or two or three or pay someone to go get data and they only come back with 1 or 2 records, right? So that's where we're at. Now, I'm a visual learner, so some of you guys are probably still trying to grasp what I just mentioned. So let's start with a PowerPoint. Now, this is PropStream, what we're looking at right now, but what I'm going to show you is going to be a PowerPoint breaking down exactly what our system can do. And so, Jimmy, if you can just confirm that you see the PowerPoint on your screen.
Yes, sir. I see everything clearly.
Awesome. So one of the biggest question again is what does PropStream do for me, or what can it do for my current real estate business? I'm a firm believer, I might be biased, but I'm a firm believer it's going to help you get started or enhance your real estate business that you already have. But the 2 main things that we do are the 2 things that you're going to need to solve for your business. And those 2 things are lead generation. I don't care if you're a banker, a realtor, you're wholesaling, you're fixing and flipping. Most real estate professions need to generate leads. You got to get that phone call to ring, right? And so in lead generation with PropStream, because we know there's different levels of investors. You have your seasoned investors, your novice investors, maybe one's doing 1 or 2 deals every month. There's different levels of investors. So we've broken our lead generation to 3 parts. Part 1 is build a list. I believe everybody's going to need to do that with PropStream. So you could build like a senior owners list, our new pre-probate list. We added some new mortgage filters in there, so you can even create your own list if you wanted to. And then you can export that after you build a list. That's all part 1, right? You build, you save, you export, and then we'll see you later. Now, part 2 is skip tracing. For those that don't know what that means getting a phone number or an email. And that is correct. With PropStream, you can pay a few pennies. It's 12 cents or 10 cents, depending on your package, but typically 12 cents to get a phone number or an email. Now, if you don't get a phone number or an email, we're not going to charge you that 12 cents. We'll play it there as well. So think about this for a second, okay? Back in 1999, when there was no technology, no PropStream, none of this stuff, an investor would have to go to the county, grab records, right? So that's gas already. Granted, gas prices were a lot lower than they are today, but go get that, bring that list back, manually filter it. Once they set aside, let's say 2 or 3 dozen properties that they're interested in, they now have to go drive to those properties or send postcards to those properties, right? So there's still a lot of work involved. And if you drove, that's a lot of money in gas. With PropStream, I can take those 3 dozen properties and skip trace it. And I can get a phone number and email, and in the comfort of my air conditioning, I can make phone calls and speak to homeowners over the phone. So while investors are still knocking on door, not getting a response, I might be talking to the homeowner sitting on the couch watching the TV game or the football game this weekend, right? Or whatever it may be. So don't dismiss skip tracing. It's a very powerful feature, especially with 9 out of 10 people walking around with a cell phone. Now, the last part is marketing. With PropStream, you can build, let's say, a senior owner list and then skip trace it to get their landlines and emails. And then you can even market to that list. Now, when it comes to marketing, we'll give you a website. So you'll get a free website for your list. So if it's a senior owners list, your website should probably say something like, I can help you find a retirement home, or call me for the easiest transaction ever, right? Or peace of mind moving into your next place. Maybe you need to downgrade to a single story, right? Whatever it may be. Then you can send postcards and emails. And that's how it works with lead generation. Build a list in part 1, gather contact information in part 2, set up a website and send out your emails and postcard in part 3. And then you rinse, recycle, repeat. Go back to part 1, build another list, maybe a pre-foreclosure list or maybe a lien list. Save it, skip trace it, market to that. Now, again, this is one of the things that you're going to need to do in your real estate business. If you do this, whether you're doing it with PropStream or manually or through another platform, the inevitable will happen, I hope. And that's someone's going to call you back. One of your leads will definitely call you back. Hey, I got your postcard, or I got your email, or maybe you called them and they actually answered the phone. Well, what you're going to need right then and there are 4 powerful pieces of information. Now, what you're seeing here on the screen is simply how to analyze a property, right? You're going to search the address, and then we're going to give you all of our data, and this is where you're going to find the opportunities. Now, after that, you can run comps to get a value on the property, and you can print reports. But when we analyze a property, this is not on the PowerPoint, this is just a side thing. The 4 pieces of information that you need to have, and we can provide that for you: property details, right? The moment someone actually answers the phone call or they call you back, you got to know how many bedrooms, bathrooms, the age of the property, maybe the school district. So that information is a requirement, property details. Second thing you're going to probably need to know is what we call situational data. Are you on market? Do you have a lien? Is there a pre-foreclosure? Did you file for bankruptcy? Right? That's what we call situation data, and PropStream does collect that. So that phone call comes in. Hi, John, thanks for calling me. I see your house was built 50 years ago, right? Because I have that data. Oh, I see you have a lien. Where are you at with that? That's the situational data right there. Now, the third piece of information you're going to need after knowing the details and the situation the property might be going through is that financial information. Is there enough equity for us to wholesale it or fix and flip it, or whatever the strategy may be? And is there a mortgage that we need to worry about? Because if there's a mortgage for $250,000, you're not going to be able to offer $180,000 cash, right? So we have that financial information for you. And the last piece of information that you're going to need that we provide is the comparable data, right? The ability to look at what's sold around the neighborhood, the pictures of those properties that sold, the date in which they sold, and the price in which they sold for. So that way you can have a justifiable offer. When the homeowner wants full price and you offer them 70% of that price, you have a report that can justify why you're offering 70%. You can actually show the homeowners what those 100% prices look like, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the way I always look at it. So this is our breakdown of our system. Again, I'm a visual learner, so look at this as the table of contents. For those of you that are watching, you might want to maybe screenshot this and put it on your wall. And then we do have some additional features. The mobile app,
I want to say
members, and list automator. What was that, Jimmy?
I said before you go, before you move forward, I just wanted to clarify, but I want to just confirm one thing you said about when you call the client, when you call the person, you need to have enough data on them. You know, what is the property worth and how many bedrooms and all that. Because when, you know, sometimes I used to do a lot of cold calling for my students with them on the phone, and they were like, you know what, this is more complicated than I thought. I said, yeah, if you're unprepared, you know, if you call these people and you don't really know what they want to do, it's not about what you want to do, it's what they want to do with their own property. If you don't have the information, then it's hard to build rapport. I mean, you only have between 1 and 2, maybe 3 minutes to really get them. Other than that, they're going to hang up. But what I like about PropStream, they give you enough data where, you know, they're going to say, well, this person's been kind of looking around. This person knows a lot about my property and my needs. It has to come across as, I want to do a deal with you, and this is what I have to offer. And you can't do that without proper data. I tell all my students that, and some of them don't get it. They just think they can cold call, and that doesn't work. You just can't cold call without anything to offer. So that's why I like PropStream so much. But back to you.
Oh, absolutely, and I love that bring up. And actually, I'm gonna recap to that. We're gonna go back to what you just mentioned in a few moments. But let's start with lead generation, right? So part one. I'm going to actually show you guys how you can do this. So if you're watching and this is the first time you've ever used PropStream, please follow along. I'm going to give you some great pointers. So the first thing you need to do when it comes to lead generation is you need to search a market. And you can search by a county, a city, or a zip code. So let's go to PropStream now. And when you log into PropStream, you're going to get this pop-up that tells you about our academy, our daily webinars. So we really want to teach you everything PropStream. Hopefully today I can clear most of that fog up for you, but if you really want to learn more, please dive into our free resources. Now, when you hit close, we're going to take your internet address and zoom in on your market. So for those that don't know, I'm in Orange County, same with PropStream, but PropStream is a nationwide data provider. So we don't restrict you to your market. I can actually, even though I'm in Southern California, I can use PropStream to search any market in the nation. Now, before we go into this, I do want to kind of show you where the toolbar is. It's a very powerful thing in our system because you will be jumping back and forth within some of its icons. The toolbar is on the left-hand side. Now, the reason why we're starting you on the search page is if we go back to the PowerPoint, remember, our system can help you with one of two main things, and that's generate leads and analyzing a property. Regardless of what you're doing first, those need to be done in the search page, right? Because the search page is where you're going to either search a market and build a list, generate leads, or search an address and analyze that address. And this is why we start you here. We're going to talk about lead generation. So again, it'd be unfair for me to use any place in Southern California because it might be scripted, right? So Jimmy, I'm going to put this on you. Give me an area you'd like me to search. Put me on the spot and I'll put that up.
Yeah, Dallas, Texas. Let's do that.
Dallas, Texas. Okay. So when I pull up Dallas, Texas, PropStream is going to let you dive into our server and give you all of our records in our server. So what we're seeing right now here on the right-hand side is the collective total of records in PropStream, right? Now, every number that you see is represented on the map, and you're going to get 50 per page here on the right-hand side. Now, granted, this is like going to the county and getting all these records and going through them one at a time. I don't recommend that. So to save you some time, PropStream will take these records here and categorize them here at the top for you. So it'll tell you how many of those records are records on the MLS, how many of them are in pre-foreclosure, et cetera, et cetera. And if you click on one of these categories, we will isolate just those records here on the right-hand side. Okay, so repeat, how did we do that? We go to the search bar, we type in a city, a county, a zip code, and then we'll pull up the collective total. And then from there, you can break it down. Mm-hmm. Now let's address the most common question we get. How frequently are you guys updating your data? We update our data every day, right? But the thing is, we don't update every area every day, right? But since we're dealing on a nationwide level, I can get away by saying, yeah, we update every day because California sent us an update yesterday. Texas might send us an update today, Florida tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But I'm gonna actually show you how you can identify your market's frequency. So when you get your results here on the right side, you're gonna have three ways to view them. This is called pick view. That will show you a picture if there is one available. There's list view, gets rid of the picture, gives you the address, a little bit of the property's description. And then there's what I call spreadsheet view. It's this little tab right here between the map and the results. And if you click on that tab, the reason I call it spreadsheet view, because it looks like a spreadsheet. And one of the columns that you want to resonate with is this column that says last updated. So if I click on this twice, it puts it from most recent record down to the oldest record. So reason why I'm showing you this is if I pull up Dallas, which I have no idea, not in this market, and I wanted to know, hey, when did PropStream last update Dallas's lien lists? I click on liens, get those 11,000, click on the spreadsheet view, followed by the last update 2 times. And I see, okay, the last update was on the 9th of March. Okay. And the reason why I'm explaining this and showing you is because no 2 records come from the same provider. If I go to the MLS and do the same thing, we're going to notice that the MLS records were actually updated not on the 9th of March, but in fact on the 26th, right? So the point here is every record that we get from different providers update on a different day. And some of them are pretty obvious, like high equity, right? How do we calculate equity? We have that mortgage data, but you pay your mortgage once a month. So guess what? Mortgage data gets updated once a month in PropStream. So these are some things I want to explain. Some people will, that's the first thing in their mind. How do I, when are you guys frequently updated and how do I know the frequency? That should show you right there. Okay. So now that you know how to search, how to look at your results and how to look at the frequency, let's talk about the search filter. This is the power of PropStream. Okay. So in our search filter, there are 2 ways to search. And I'm going to actually break that down for you. One way, 10 out of 10 investors are doing right now, right? I call it the traditional search, and here's how it goes. Brace yourself for another PowerPoint. But this is the traditional search. It goes like this. You go into a market. In this case, we're going to go to Dallas, and we're going to pick a list. Now, let's talk about it for a second. Why? Because before PropStream, before all this technology, that's what investors had to do. That's why I call it the traditional search. Gotta go get that list. Now, what did they do after that list? Again, I've been doing this for nearly 10 years. And what I've discovered is most investors are going to do 3 things after they get that list. They're going to make sure it's off market.
Yeah.
They're going to make sure it has that equity they need to do their business.
Yeah.
Now, some investors don't need equity, some do. That's usually the third preference.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth are your property and owner characteristics preferences, because everybody's different. You might be doing skyscrapers, I might be doing mobile homes, the next is doing single family, and so forth and so forth. And same with owner preferences. Some might want 7 years, some want 10 years, some want out of state, some want individually owned, corporate owned, right? So the traditional search really kind of follows this method. Pick a list, off-market equity, property and owner characteristics. So with PropStream, once you pull up your market, the quick list choices is your traditional search. You're going to click on that. There's 17 categories to choose from. If you last saw our video from about nearly 2 years ago, we have a bunch of new filters here for you, right? And you can go to our website to learn what these definitions are. But the new ones that you may not have seen are like the tax delinquency, the senior owners list. We have tired landlords, zombie properties, which are pre-foreclosures and vacant properties at the same time, and then pre-probate. Now, I didn't say probate, I said pre-probate. So we don't collect probate data, but we're collecting pre-probate data. What this is that we've been able to identify if someone who's passed away, deceased person, left behind a property on their name on a property. Essentially, is their name on a title. And if we see a deceased person with their name on a title, that's in our pre-probate list. So quick list choices, just like the traditional search, virtually walking into, a data system, right? I need to start with the list. So we could start with maybe the senior owners list. Now, again, once you choose a list, we got to do 3 other things. We got to make sure it's off market. So to the left-hand side are the additional filters. MLS status is what you want to start with. Here,
Okay.
you click on it, you have additional filters. On market, that's the popular one. Think of that as a question. Do you want any of your senior owners on market? If so, go ahead and click yes. Here are your senior owners that are listed their property with a realtor. Now, most of us don't want that, right? So we're going to want to make sure we hit no. So do you want senior owners that are on market? No. And then you can call it a day at that point. So second rule, when you do the traditional search is taken care of. The third rule, we got to make sure it has equity. So valuation and equity info. Here, you're going to want to resonate with the estimated equity dollar amount or by the percentage. Jimmy, is there a percentage that you normally aim for? Minimum?
I try to do 30%. That's just me personally. But I was going to say something earlier. This is an investor's paradise when you start talking about tax delinquency. I'm thinking, wow. I know a couple of people that's all they do. They focus on tax lien properties and properties that have tax problems. I mean, and I used to do some things a couple of years ago when I got this list from one of my mentors, and it had like 5,000 properties, but most of them had, they didn't have tax problems. They had other issues. But I wish I could have got that list with the tax problems, man. That's a huge one. That's a big.
Well, I just changed the category for us to tax delinquency, so we'll aim for that. Make sure it's off market, and then you said 30%, correct?
Yeah. What were you talking about? Repair value? You mean after repair? Yeah.
No, for equity actually. So for equity minimum amount.
Say 50% equity.
Love that. Okay, so we'll do 50%. So we're looking for tax delinquencies now. Again, that are off market. So the list is tax delinquency. That's 1. 2, it's made sure off market. That's an MLS status. 3, equity. So Jimmy just gave us that minimum. We want properties with 50% or more in equity. Mm-hmm. For those that don't know what that may be, that's the difference between what you owe and what the house could sell for. That's the profit that you and the homeowner can make, right? So that's a very important thing. And then the fourth and final thing, again, the property and owner characteristics. So with property characteristics, pretty self-explanatory. Property characteristics, go ahead and click on that. And being that PropStream has so much data, you do have to let us know what class of properties you want. So, do you want that tax delinquency commercial building, like that mini warehouse or service station or a retail location that didn't pay their taxes? I mean, we have a lot of data.
Wow.
Or for most, they're probably going to stick with that residential, right? I want that residential.